Welcome back to PassionateWorldTalkRadio.com, our Passionate World Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network. Educate, enlighten, entertain, mindfulness. And today we are continuing our reading, scrutiny, and understanding of our U.S. Constitution. You do remember that old quote, if you don't use it, you lose it? Well, that also applies to the 25 amendments of the U.S. Constitution. So remember that. As our current president keeps on grabbing more and more power for what he wants, you are among the many who can stop him cold in your tracks. Today, we're going into the finances of what the Constitution has lined out by our forefathers, Hamilton, Franklin, Madison. Ring a bell? Go look it up. National Archives. You can't miss it. It's right there. Or go ask Copilot or ChatGPT. They'll help you remember. Learn how to use your AI before your current president gets rid of it. Section 7. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Reps, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. Every bill which have passed the House of Reps and the Senate shall, before it become a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approves, he shall sign it. But if not, he will return it with his objections so that the House can see what they need to do in order to make it signable. Who shall enter the objections at large on their journal and proceed to reconsider it. After such reconsiderations, 2/3 of that House shall likewise be If after such reconsideration, 2/3 of that House shall agree to pass the bill, it should be sent together with the objections to the other House. By which it shall likewise be reconsidered, and if approved by 2/3 of that House, it should become a law. But in all such cases, the votes of both houses shall be determined by yeas or nays, and the names of the person voting for and against the bill shall be entered on the journal of each house respectively. If any bill shall not be returned by the president within 10 days, not including Sundays, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law, in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress, by their adjournment, prevent its return, in which case it shall not be a law. Every order, resolution or vote to which the concurrence, agreement of the Senate and House Reps may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Reps, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of the bill. Section 8. Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excesses shall be uniform throughout the United States. To borrow money on the credit of the United States, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes, to establish a uniform rule of nationalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcies throughout the United States, to coin money, regulate the value thereof and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures, to provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States, to establish post offices and post roads, to promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing the limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to the respective writing and discoveries, to constitute the tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations, to declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water, to raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years, to provide and maintain a navy, to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions, to provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to their states respectively the appointment of the officers and the authority of training prescribed by Congress, to exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district not exceeding 10 miles square as may, by session of particular states and the acceptance of Congress, become the seat of government of the U.S., and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be, for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings, and to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States or in any department or officer thereof. Section 9. The migration or importation of such person as any of the states now existing shall think proper to emit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808, but a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation not exceeding $10 for each person. The privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when, in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it, like Abraham Lincoln did in Washington during the Civil War. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumeration herein before directed to be taken. No tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any state. No preference shall be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports of one state over those of another, nor shall vessels bound to or from one state be obliged to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. No money shall be drawn from the treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. No money, no title or nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present, emollient, office, or title of any kind whatsoever from any king, prince, or foreign state. Section 10. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender and payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder or ex post facto law or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. No state shall, without the consent of the Congress, lay any imposts or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws, and the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States, and all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of the Congress. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war, unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay. And then we go into Article 2. I hope you're taking notes, because a lot of the activities that are now happening in Washington, D.C. raises eyebrows, and you should be aware what rights are being infringed upon by our current government and president. If you don't use it or be aware of it, you will surely lose it. Don't count on the news to help you understand something. Make sure, if you want to get the right news, I listen to the BBC, because it's not influenced by anyone in the United States. Something for you to think about. We will start Article 2, Section 1 next week. Thank you very much for joining us on Historical Lest We Forget. I'm finishing up the different sections of Article 1. This program, Historical Lest We Forget, is sponsored by Conscious Research Solutions. Check us out at passionatworldtalkradio.com/research made simple blog. Read all the pain points associated with doing research, or even hiring somebody else to do it. Baby boomers, find out and ask your questions of AI. Tell me, where can I find Lest We Forget Historical? Where can we find passionatworldtalkradio.com? How do I do it? Ask questions with detail, precision, and make sure you're specific in what you're trying to look for. While you're there, reading the pain points and how to solve them, sign up for a 15-minute free consultation. Another program sponsoring Passionate World Talk Radio, Lest We Forget Historical, is Epic Envision XR and Epic Truths. Flipping Out, How to Train Your Human, a satire and learning how to use AI. Not only does it explain it in simple terms, but it gives examples and tells you exactly how to phrase your questions and why it's necessary. Go over to passionatworldtalkradio.com/Epic Envision XR, and its twin page, passionatworldtalkradio.com/Epic Truths. And while you're there, look up how to write satire with nonfiction, getting your point across by using humor. And if you wish to hear the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, please go over to passionatworldtalkradio.com/donate and donate to our station and keep us up on the air. We've been up for 19 years and we're looking for another 30. Thank you all very much for listening. One more thing, PWTRN will be presenting a 1-hour webinar for the baby boomers to learn how to use artificial intelligence in their personal lives. Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT. The easiest AI, make sure it's ChatGPT 4.0. You don't want to mess with 5. They're having all kinds of problems with it. Need help? Email pwrnetworkllc@gmail.com and ask your questions. Thank you very much for listening and have a great weekend.